Those are our thoughts and our theories and what have you. But with that in mind, as I make this transition here, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time yet again to have one man's opinion, one man's thoughts on a certain thing that makes him angry. That
Well,
okay,
that's a good
well,
way to work, I guess.
more like annoyed, I guess. I'll put it that way. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another edition of Why You're Wrong with Gregg Dietz.
All right, so I was fumbling around on Twitter during a DoorDash session because I'm not the driver, I'm the deliverer, and I noticed that David Jaffe, who if you don't know who he is, he kind of created God of War and Twisted Metal. He tweeted out a thing that was about how it frustrates him that Epic is basically creating this new way of handling game distribution digitally. And it pisses gamers off because there's exclusivity. And so I started doing a dive into it and looking at to what exclusivity it is and the stuff we've talked about. And it absolutely boggles my mind that there are people that are mad about this. There are people out there that don't understand what's happening. First and foremost, as I fucking stated before, it's a free service. Why the fuck are you fighting it? It's honestly it's as stupid to fight Epic as it would be to sit there and say, well, I have free Michael Jordan shoes versus free Stephen Curry shoes, right? Both are free. But because like Michael Jordan's an older basketball player and currently not playing, or Stephen Curry is not on your favorite team, you refuse one or the other. It's stupid because they're free. And I've given you the option to take both pairs of shoes, but you refuse one for some stupid arbitrary reason. If you think exclusivity on a free service is something that hurts you, you should probably go back to school. You should probably learn something because that's not the case. It never will be the case. Epic is doing wonderful things for indie devs with that huge benefit towards indie devs getting more money than if they were on Steam. Steam's terrible system in how they handle certain games, like with the rape game thing, that clearly shows that their algorithm doesn't work right. And that they took a special attention to the game after shit went haywire. Epic's not having that problem. They won't have that problem. I have seen a few people say they're not going to get the Epic download because they made Fortnite, and fuck Fortnite, which is even further into the realm of fucking stupid, but that's a whole nother fucking category. This conversation is about you not wanting the service because of some arbitrary, stupid reasons. I guess that would be an arbitrary, stupid reason, but it's further into the realm of what I'm talking about. I've seen a few people talk about how exclusivity hurts the gaming industry because it shows that you can buy your way into anything. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Welcome to 2019, or I don't know, the era of capitalism that this country is built on, that other countries are using. Capitalism is the way that these things are. It is an entertainment industry. It is not a socialist type of thing. It never will be a socialist type of thing. It is capitalism. And video games, to, I don't know, become more successful, to have sales, have to be better. And you're showing that with your money in various ways. Granted, there are other ways that a studio could stay alive, investors and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, you are showing that you don't understand something by refusing to spend your money in a place. We've talked about on the podcast before that when certain things happen, like stuff with EA, if you don't buy the game, what does it show EA? Doesn't show them anything. EA looks at things differently. Activision looks at things differently. Ubisoft looks at things differently. And And they're because they're big name publishers. Epic, on the other hand, is still a development company. Epic broke off from Xbox like after the Gears of War thing, being exclusive to that. And then they made Fortnite, and it failed. And then they made Fortnite Battle Royale, and it was a massive success. Still is a massive success. And they went, you know what? We don't like how certain things are run in the industry. So we're going to change that. But the only way that we're going to get people to download our service is to have exclusive games. The only way we're going to get people to give us their money in terms of, buying these games, we have to have exclusive titles. This is how Sony and Xbox sell their systems. This is how Nintendo sells their systems. We talked about, I point out my Xbox and my Switch, them being buddy. But Xbox isn't getting fucking Mario, and Master Chief isn't going to suddenly be on the fucking Switch. That's not how it works. They're exclusive titles to sell their consoles. Hence what Epic's doing. If Steam wants to compete with that, then they need to have exclusives as well. But this doesn't hurt you as the fucking consumer. Because at the end of the day, it's a free service. And that's why you're wrong.
And that is why you're wrong with Gregg Dietz. Yeah, nothing really to add to that. I mean, I talked about it. Was it last week or a week or two? I kind of said the same thing because I was trying to figure out myself, why are people being angry about Epic and exclusives? Because if it was on a console, sure, I understand, because you have to buy a whole another console to get that game. But because it's on a PC, you can get it for free. You can download for free and you get that game. What was it? The publisher of Metro, or the people who made Metro, stated hey, they made more money on Steam versus what they did on they made more money on Epic Game Store versus what they did Steam for the last Metro game, but the newest one they have put out recently. So it's working. It's just it's a weird thing, because the other thing I wanted to point out is just it's weird that people are taking sides on a so-called battle, or between Steam and Epic, when they're champion corporate entities. It's does anybody feel uncomfortable about this as I do? Just because people are really up in arms for the corporate company.
It's so fucking silly to me, man. There was another thing that David Jaffe in that thread was also talking about that kind of sparked my attention, and that was people upset at Stadia. This online service sort of thing. And, David Jaffe points out that it's something new and different that could take things forward in the gaming industry, yet gamers are pissed off at it for weird reasons. And somebody pointed out that data caps are going to prevent me from being able to use Stadia totally and entirely and completely. And David Jaffe goes, and that is a legit argument. That is a legit complaint. And that's really the only complaint you can have against Stadia. It's the only complaint I had against Stadia when we talked about it.
Yep. But
there's people who are just livid with Stadia. You can't just jump into the gaming market right now. It didn't work that way. Yes, it does work that way.
Microsoft says hi.
Google's well, this is a fucking multi-billion-dollar industry. Sure, why not? Duh, it's a no-brainer. And like we pointed out, Google has a ton to lose on this. But Epic, they're not, they have a lot to spend on this store.
Yep.
And something that kills me, and I pointed out today, is that EA, we didn't talk about it during the show, but EA laid off a huge amount of their staff. Mm-hmm. And 300 and some odd people, and people were just EA sucks and EA this, and I was just no. This is your fault. When you go onto threads and on Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and wherever, and you just shit on EA for Anthem or for whatever the fuck you want, and then you go, I'm not buying an EA game, and you go, well, how dare they lay off people when they don't have the money to afford to keep them? You don't play that game. It's not how this works. And that's why you're wrong. You get a bonus